Hello，
OK，
Hello， 各位屏幕前的老朋友和新朋友们，我是沈怡清 Karen，非常欢迎大家又来到我们温暖的云上大家庭。我们有很多老朋友对于刚刚进入直播间的新朋友来说呢，欢迎大家来到一个专属我们医疗机构管理者、拥有者和运营者的空间和我们的客厅。那大家熟悉我们的都知道，我们从2月份开始，我们创造了这么一个云上的大家庭。我们的 program 包括了这个空中圆桌，也包括了空中对话，还有空中讲坛、专病研讨。特别呢，跟 USCIPP 美国医院国际医疗协会，我们有一个空中连线的非常精彩的节目。所以今天来到了 USCIPP Month 的第3场，Nemours儿童医疗集团。那么通常我们还是要请出我们 USCIPP 的中国代表陈世宏先生，我们的主办单位，跟我们一起聊聊 USCIPP， 聊聊 USCIPP 的 Month。世宏，请。
好，大家好，也感谢大家花这个星期六晚上陪我们连线到美国东海岸现在Nemours 医院的USCIPP 是美国医院国际医疗协会的也是代表我们是一个行业协会，代表了差不多65家的美国的大学附属医院的医院集团，所以其实我们很多我们的会员单位的话，大部分都是医院集团呢，他们不仅是有临床的一些使命的，但是也有科研还有教育的功能在里面的。这个月的话，我们也是已经办过好几次的这个USCIPP Month，也是非常感谢 CareU 还有 Roy Care 的陪伴了。那我觉得我们现在也越来越熟悉这个了，也是越来越有这个默契了。但是我觉得今天的话算是一个有2个消息，我想跟大家分享一下。第一个，你知道我这边旁边的话是有一个二维码，这个二维码是关于我们USCIPP 的年会。这个年会的话，其实是一个蛮难得的一个机会，就是可以参与就认识我们这些65家的整个医院这个的国际医疗部的。我们其实也是一直在找一些参与单位的，所以如果有机构是希望说是参与或者是赞助的话，其实可以直接扫一下这个二维码，那去报名。我们考虑就是我们今年的年会是大概在10月份左右。这是第一个消息的。当然的话，如果有对年会的这个报名或者赞助有兴趣的话，可以直接联系我，我的联系方式毕竟也是在这个上面的。第二件事情其实也是可能是更重要的事情，就是我就是很荣幸要介绍今天的我们的USCIPP 的会员单位的就是 Nemours Children's System。那么我们过去的话，大部分都是有中型综合型的医院的，但是今天有非常难得的，就是介绍一个非常出名的一个儿童专业医院，儿童医院其实，所以这个儿童医院的话是在Delaware，也是就是算是东海岸的一个很古老的一个也不能讲古老，但是一个比较你可以讲说比较有历史的一个州。那么我觉得也是一个蛮难得的机会，就是从一个综合性的医院考虑各种各样的一些科室，可以更了解一下。其实我作为一个父亲，也是一个很关注的一点的话，就是说要如何照顾小孩子我们自己小孩子的。那儿童医院呢，其实是面对一个非常大的一个挑战的话，同时是要照顾小孩子，但是其实也要照顾小孩子的父母亲，因为从某种角度，小孩子的父母亲可能是他们更重要的一个，那你可以讲说一个患者的，或者患者的家属反而是更重要一点。那么 我觉得我介绍了也蛮多了。现在我觉得可能大家最有兴趣的话是想要了解那个 Nemours 的那个儿童医院的，所以我非常荣幸的话，那个介绍我们那个Dr. Mary Lee 的那个副院长，他其实在他的那个Dr. Lee 的那个其实是负责他们的那个是Physician Chief， 还有就是说他们的那个Chief Scientist。所以那个 Dr. Lee 这一块的话，很资深的。那还有这边的话，他那个也负责，同时是负责临床的，但是也有科研，还有行政的一些工作在 Nemours 的。所以我趁这个时候的话，可能就是介绍那个把这个介绍那个 Dr. Lee 的。And Dr. Lee, I'm happy to sort of cue you in. And it's a real great pleasure to have you on the Tele-Trek. I think it's going to be a great opportunity to allow everyone to learn more about how Children's Hospital works, because you are the first Children's Hospital on the Tele-Trek. And also just really wonderful to know more about Nemours. So why don't I pass this off to you now?
Thank you, Shohan. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on this webinar. We are delighted to have this opportunity to share with you a few highlights of our pediatric healthcare system. The Nemours Foundation was established in 1936 through the legacy and philanthropy of Alfred I. duPont, who believed it is the duty of everyone to do what is within his power to alleviate human suffering. From our start in 1940 as an orthopedic and rehab hospital to care for children with crippling disorders such as polio, we have evolved to become one of the largest pediatric healthcare systems in the United States, with 2 freestanding quaternary care children's hospitals, many multi-specialty and primary care practices across 5 states, 22 hospital partnerships. We have a national advocacy and public policy office in Washington, D.C., and a robust education program that includes simulation centers. We provide education for students from 15 nursing schools and 6 medical schools, and we train each year about 1,000 residents and fellows and 3,000 allied health professionals. And finally, we have an integrated clinical and translational research program that is closely connected with our clinical care program. Another highlight at Nemours is our, telehealth program. This is a award-winning virtual health delivery program which uses the Nemours Care Connect app. We have both specialty and primary care virtual health, and also provide 24/7 on-demand urgent care. We have physician-to-physician consultations from our specialists to pediatricians or family medicine doctors taking care of children in the community and at other hospitals, and provide telehealth services to 22 health system partners. This program has been led by Carrie Officer, who is our OVP for our Care Connect telehealth program. In addition, to improve the quality of our virtual care, we have remote connected patient monitoring devices such as blood pressure cuffs, stethoscopes for auscultation, otoscopes for visualization of tympanic membranes, and weight scales to calculate medication dosing. These are not available for all of our patients, but we are able to set some of these up for those who require more intensive care and monitoring. Of note is that for all of our telehealth visits, we do have interpreters available, and we have received consistently high scores, 4.9 of 5 stars, for patient satisfaction with their telehealth visits. We are a recognized pediatric leader in telehealth innovation, as you can see from the list of awards on the right-hand side. And during this recent and ongoing COVID pandemic, we have had an over 2,000-fold increase in our telehealth services as we shifted our care from on-site to primarily telehealth. And despite this very rapid and massive increase in telehealth services, our surveys indicate that patients continue to be highly satisfied with receiving their care through virtual health. As we move into the future, we anticipate that we will be continuing to deliver 20 to 25% of our health care through telehealth. Another highlight at Nemours that I'd like to share with you is our complementary research program. The focus of our physician scientists and PhD researchers is to build research that ranges from advancing discovery science to leading edge clinical investigations and developing novel therapeutic innovations. And at the core of our research program is a deep connection to our patients. We strive to weave together discovery, innovation, and top-notch clinical care to improve the health of children. One example of how we have successfully integrated research and clinical care is our cancer program. Nemours delivers cancer care through participation in the NIH-funded multi-center children's oncology group that was established more than 50 years ago to improve cancer therapy. Currently, about 90% of children in the United States with cancer are treated at COG centers. And our Nemours oncologists lead a number of key COG work groups to develop new treatment protocols and discovery platforms. The COG has been pivotal in developing new therapeutics through these innovative research protocols to transform pediatric care over the past few decades. These efforts allowed pediatric oncologists to pool data and to test new therapies, and this has been instrumental in improving survival of children with cancer from being a lethal disease 50 years ago to over 80% 5-year survival rates at this time. In addition to the COG protocols, our cancer center is one of 2 pediatric NCI-funded community oncology research programs. And these programs were set up to improve the quality of pediatric oncology care in the communities that did not have ready access to a large medical center. Our integrated oncology program and our NCORE grant is led by Dr. Andy Kolb, who is our chief of hematology oncology and a professor of pediatrics at our Sidney Kimmel Medical School. Across our system, under this program, we have 3 pediatric cancer centers and clinical teams. We also support several community-based oncology sites at partner hospitals. And to ensure these programs function successfully, we have centralized clinical oncology research coordinators and have a centralized process of trial management. And in the United States, Nemours currently has the top enrollment in the pediatric cancer trials that are sponsored through the COG. And in addition to the COG protocols, our cancer centers offer innovative state-of-the-art therapy, including targeted therapies and CAR T-cell therapy. We also have solid organ transplant program and bone marrow transplant. Ultimately, our mission is to provide the highest quality therapies to achieve the best clinical outcomes for children with cancer. And what have been our ingredients for success? We have close collaboration across our hospitals and across our partners, and we share resources. We have a comprehensive system-wide oncology team with centralized coordination of clinical care, much of which is delivered through the COG protocols. And we have strived to maintain one high standard of care regardless of the site of service, and have been able to make these COG protocols accessible across all of our sites. Another example of the way we have coupled research and clinical care is some innovative work being carried out by two of our talented faculty, Drs. Matt Demsko and Erin Krauge. Dr. Demsko is a member of the Diagnostic Referral Service. These highly specialized pediatricians, which include Dr. Chris Rabb, the medical director of our international health program, who has joined us on this call, are skilled at diagnosing and managing complex medical conditions, including patients with extremely rare, unknown, or difficult to diagnose conditions. Working with Dr. Erin Krauge, who's the director of our medical bioinformatics and genomics program, who is leading a team driving innovative therapeutics and clinical applications of genomics through translational medical bioinformatics. Together, the two of them have been developing sophisticated next-gen sequencing approaches to accurately diagnose rare genetic disorders in the Amish. The Amish were a conservative branch of the Swiss Anabaptists who moved to the United States in the 18th and 19th centuries. Since then, they have lived in fairly isolated farming communities and thus have been subject to genetic bottleneck and founder effects, as well as some genetic drift. As a result, rare genetic defects were enriched and significantly increased in frequency in these Amish communities. As you can see from this table, in one community in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, these four relatively rare conditions in the general population have been amplified and occur at 135 to 500-fold higher in this Amish community. So Dr. Krauge and Demsko developed a custom panel of 200 of the most common genes responsible for medical conditions and syndromes in the regional Amish community in Delaware and Pennsylvania, and used a next generation sequencing approach to rapidly and accurately sequence and identify genetic variants. And in developing this custom gene panel, they screened for 202 pathogenic variants that are responsible for 163 syndromes. And you can see from the graph that a number of individuals in this initial sample group had more than one variant detected, and with some having as many as 8 mutations that are known to be responsible for disease. And many of these are recessive conditions. And to validate this, they looked for genetic mutations that had been identified in a group of about 200 individuals by traditional Sanger sequencing, and were successfully identified all of the mutations that you see listed on the right. So with the validation that this approach and that this custom gene panel was accurately and rapidly able to screen for multiple genes, they have now expanded their panel to about 2,000 genetic variants that are seen in the Amish population. And this panel is being used as we encounter new patients with unrecognized disease. I wanted to show you this slide of, excuse me, of Mark and Mark and Ruth. Mark had neurologic symptoms and developmental delay as an infant, but he wasn't diagnosed until age 4 with methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase deficiency. And this is a metabolic disorder that is very easily treated with betaine. But at age 4, he already had permanent neurologic damage. At that time, at the urging of pediatricians from the Clinic for Special Children, which is a clinic set up in Lancaster specifically to provide care for children in the Amish community, they worked with Dr. Ed Naylor, a biochemist, to develop a newborn screening test for this condition. And remarkably, as the test was launched, the first infant diagnosed using this filter paper spot was Ruth, Mark's younger sister, standing at his right. Ruth was treated immediately with betaine, which supplies the brain with methionine and methyl groups via an alternative pathway and spares the devastating neurological symptoms. So this photo of these two siblings beautifully illustrates the enormous benefit of early screening and diagnosis in these metabolic disorders. The panel that Aaron and Matt are developing have been used to provide prenatal counseling. And interesting to us, the Amish population were very receptive to adding the information provided by the panels to help them as they move forward in planning marriages and their families. So thank you for this opportunity to share with you some of the work that we are doing, and you'll hear more from the other speakers that are coming up about their areas of expertise. But in conclusion, the Nemours mission is to restore and improve the health and well-being of children. We are the health system of choice for generations of families now, and we thank you all for your consideration and look forward to partnering with you. Next, please enjoy a brief video of our hospital before we move on to the next speaker. Thank you.
欢迎您来到尼莫埃尔弗雷德杜邦儿童医院。环绕着我们医院的是占地300英亩的园景、青葱的草坪和绿树。 在医院里，您和家人会发现，这是一个富有希望、康复和欢乐的地方。位于特拉华州威尔明顿市的尼莫杜邦儿科医院是美国公认最安全的儿科医院之一，拥有一批在美国最受尊崇的儿科专家医生。我们有30多个儿科专科，提供门诊和住院医疗服务。事实上，Nemours 小儿骨科在美国国内是最大规模的，同时也是全球范围内最大的。作为领域里的国际领军，自从1940年以来，尼莫杜邦就一直为儿童和青少年提供先进的骨科医疗服务。从简单的骨折、运动创伤到最复杂的疾病，我们的骨科团队针对每一位患者的个别需要，提供全面的医护服务。因此，在美国新闻与世界报道最佳儿科医院排名榜上，尼莫杜邦骨科荣获排名为最优秀的20个小儿骨科之一。最佳儿科医院榜上有名，还有我们的心脏中心、癌症和血液疾病中心、胃肠内科、胃肠外科、脑内科和脑外科。同时，儿科介入放射科方面 ，Nemours 也是领先在前，使用先进的医学影像技术和低创疗法，精准治疗儿科疾患，达到切口细小、康复时间短、疼痛更少的效果。在美国，我们是为患儿施行最先进的肝脏手术的少数医院之一，包括以前不可治的肝脏肿瘤。尼莫杜邦提供胎儿早期诊断，检测可能发生的先天缺陷，并协助准父母计划未来，制定最佳的医护方案。换言之，孩子们在出生前就已经有了尼莫杜邦的守护。有些健康的准妈妈怀着的宝宝在出生后马上就需要复杂的医护服务，为此我们与 Christiana Care 医院携手创建了高科技分娩项目。我们的新生儿重症监护病房技术先进，与新生儿专科医生一起携手为出生时就患病的宝宝提供最好的生命起点。在特拉华州的尼莫杜邦医院是尼莫儿童健康系统里的医院之一。这个世界知名的儿科医疗系统还包括了位于佛罗里达州奥兰多市的 Nemours 儿科医院，以及遍布在美国5个州的各种门诊设施，提供儿科全科门诊、儿科专科门诊以及急诊等服务。Nemours 拥有先进的实验研究室，合作广泛，并积极参与各类研究和临床实验，为的是研究出更好的儿科疾病诊治方法。我们的儿科专长更是通过先进的远程医疗技术，得以与医院以外的更多的人分享。Nemours 最关注的就是我们的患者和家属，因此我们全力以赴创造一个最高质量的医疗环境，促进孩子们康复，让他们重享无忧无虑的童年。这就是我们的使命，我们的承诺。
Thank you. We're going to turn now to our next speaker, Dr. Will Mackenzie. Dr. Mackenzie is a professor of pediatrics and orthopedics, and he is the department chair of our Department of Orthopedics. He leads a world-class team of orthopedic surgeons who have been recognized internationally and nationally for their particular expertise in a number of pediatric orthopedic genetic disorders, as well as in acquired disorders such as cerebral palsy. I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Mackenzie.
Good morning. Actually, good evening for you. I'm speaking to you from a sunny morning in Delaware. And I'm going to give you a quick overview of our department and our achievements. This hospital was created in 1940. It was originally an orthopedic institute and is now, as Mary has shown, developed into a full-service hospital. We have a very large orthopedic department and have many multidisciplinary clinics. It's interesting how these clinics developed. We've always had very, very strong support financially in our system, and this has allowed physicians to spend time in a multidisciplinary clinic without the pressure of income for the system. I'm going to go through several areas of expertise. The first will be in cerebral palsy. This is a group that is housed within the Department of Orthopedic Surgery in Delaware and is now through a system. We use Epic. We now have a software that will allow our entire system, north and south, to do research in cerebral palsy. We have one of the largest cerebral palsy centers in the world with more than 3,000 patients in the database. They do 300 procedures a year, and two of the most definitive textbooks on CP came from our system. It is nationally and internationally known. The current leader succeeding Dr. Freeman Miller is Dr. Schrader, who is a former board member of AAC DPM. He's an associate editor and is now on an NIH advisory board for rehabilitation. He oversees 38 active research projects, including basic science, epigenetics, and muscle physiology. Last year, the team had 14 publications, 30 podium presentations, and have hosted courses as well as supported courses around the world. They have won 5 research grants in the last 3 years from multiple organizations and are a charter member of the CP Research Network. They're also involved in the HARMS study group for scoliosis. They have four full-time surgeons and support staff focused entirely on the care of children with cerebral palsy. We have a very large gait lab, which is one of the most active in the country with more than 400 clinical studies a year. But the key to our care is multidisciplinary care team. There's an outstanding rehab medicine team partners. We work very closely with PT and OT and complex pediatrics. There's a dedicated CP social network team. Family advisory board is very important to inform care and plan family social and educational activities. This is an interesting example of a child with crouch gait. She was 12 years old. She had previous hamstring lengthenings in another institution, and walking was deteriorating, and she was complaining of knee pain. And here's her walking, and you can see the significant hip and knee flexion contractures and foot deformities. Dr. Schrader did extension osteotomies as well as foot surgery. And here she is walking several years later, and you can see the marked difference in her ability to get around. And that is shown, and you can see in this gait lab example, on the top line, you can see the green was pre-op and the red is post-op, and the gray is what a normal or average stature child would walk. The Spine Center at Nemours is a regional and national center of excellence. We are recognized for our correction techniques, We use all the standardized methods of treatment with growing rod systems and vertebral tethers for growth modulation, standard instrumentation for fusion. We use intraoperative motor and sensory evoked potential monitoring and have blood conservation techniques. We use standardized protocols both in the idiopathic scoliosis and neuromuscular scoliosis group. We have very advanced pain control systems, and our average length of stay for idiopathic scoliosis is 2 to 3 days. We use ultra low dose X-ray. This is an example of a weekly multidisciplinary conference that is attended by surgeons, techs, support personnel, social work, all members of the team. It's an example of a severe scoliosis and planned correction using our EOS multidimensional imaging and workstations. And this example of that child with the surgical correction. We have quality, safety, and value plans across our system, north and south. We are looking at all these issues and are publishing on them. We're involved in an educational program for fellows, residents, and we host regional conferences and international conferences at our system. We're involved in prospective research. We have 50 active spine IRB projects. We've had extensive presentations around the world, as you can see here, with over 20 publications last year. We're involved in the course faculty of multiple courses around the world, and it's a very active group. Skeletal dysplasia is the area that I'm most involved in. I do spine and extremity surgery in these children. We have a strong multidisciplinary clinic, and this is just part of the group meeting. We meet every Thursday morning to discuss all our complex patients and planned treatment programs for the following week. Skeletal dysplasia is an extremely rich area. There are more than 450 types identified, more than 350 with a known genetic abnormality. It requires an extensive team of geneticists to understand and manage these syndromes. These are some of the more common genetic bases of skeletal dysplasia. This is area where we have done research on the genetics of skeletal dysplasia and added to the literature. We've done research on biomarkers. We identified that in achondroplasia, that there are many coming treatments for achondroplasia which are based on a protein called C-natriuretic peptide, which upregulates endochondral bone growth. We identified that this is already upregulated in achondroplasia, but there seems to be a fact from the studies we have been involved in. Collagen 10 marker is a marker of growth, and we're doing some work with a group in Italy on diastrophic dysplasia. The most interesting aspect of the care of this children for me is the unique problems in each area. These are 4 children. They couldn't be more different. The boy on the left has severe restrictive lung disease. Although he has severe spine and limb problems, his threat to life is his pulmonary function. The girl with achondroplasia can live as long as you and I, but will have problems and be plagued with spinal stenosis for most of her life. The young man with skeletal dysplasia will rely on mobility aids for the rest of his life. He'll have surgery for spine and limb problems and will need joint replacements later in life. The boy with spondylopiphyseal dysplasia, again, bright, will live as long as you and I, and will have problems with upper cervical instability, spine deformity, hip and limb deformity, and because it's a type 2 collagenopathy, will have the joints wearing out later in life. Despite all these problems, these kids can do as well as anybody who is average stature. This is a few examples of clinical problems. This is a young man with diastrophic dysplasia and cervical kyphosis. He has delayed development and has lower extremity weakness and hyperreflexia. This is because of the severe cervical kyphosis. And spinal cord compression is seen on this flexion extension cervical spine MRI. We did an anterior and posterior fusion, and here he is 3 or 4 years later showing an acceptable degree of deformity and stabilized neurologic function. This is a young man with achondroplasia who has a severe thoracolumbar kyphosis, as you can see right here. This was an uncharacteristic young man who progressed during his adolescent years and had severe deformity and symptoms of spinal stenosis. You can see the stiff deformity when put over the bolster and the CT, and then the MRI showing the associated spinal stenosis. So here you need to decompress and realign the spine. We did that using a posterior technique, removing the second lumbar vertebral body, putting in an expandable cage, and then instrumenting front and back, and you can see the final result. The other common issue in achondroplasia is genuvarum. And here you can see a young lady with quite severe genuvarum that involves deformity at multiple levels in her leg. The current rage is with growth modulation. We use a lot of 8 plates to tether the lateral side of the growth plates and realign the legs with growth. The problem with this technique is it only works while you're growing. And so in achondroplasia, the significant growth occurs before 10 to 12 years of age. In young children with severe symptomatic deformities, we can realign them with good long-term follow-up. In older children, there's usually multiple levels of deformity. And this is an example of a child where I did an external frame with gradual realignment through the upper osteotomy and acute realignment through the distal osteotomy just above the ankle. And here you can see the final result. Morquio syndrome is one of the MPSs, MPS 4A, that is very common in China, actually. I was supposed to visit a group in Shanghai, which has had extensive experience doing bone marrow transplants, but the visit was canceled because of the COVID epidemic. I wanted to show you an example of a child with Morquio syndrome and the progressive deformity. You could see the progressive genuvalgum and hip dysplasia. This was an old case. I realigned with external fixators, but now I would use 8 plates, and you can see the hip reconstruction with osteotomies. Here's this child later in life, and we used growth modulation to re-straighten her out, and you can see we've ended up with a good hip, realigned lower extremities, both the knee and the ankle. We described a problem in Morquio syndrome where they can have severe tracheal obstruction due to a change in the trachea at the thoracic inlet. And you can see that on the CT. And you could imagine if you were an anesthesiologist trying to put an endotracheal tube in the stiff deformity, it would not be possible. This has been the cause of multiple intraoperative and perioperative deaths around the world, and I think is an important addition to the literature. This can be reconstructed by cardiac surgery, which we've done about 10 times. This is an example of someone with Morquio syndrome with severe deformity later in life. She was not reconstructed. We realigned her legs. She had hip pain, and then we reconstructed her hips with custom hip prostheses with a very successful result. In our group of skeletal dysplasia, we've been involved in multiple registry projects. We have the International Registry for Majewski osteodysplastic primordial dwarfism, rhizomelic chondrodysplasia punctata, and have been involved in multi-center registry projects in the groups you see below. In the group in achondroplasia, our 3-center registry follows 1,700 children and adults with achondroplasia. We've been involved in multiple trials, and we have ongoing trials in children with achondroplasia, Hunter syndrome, and Sanfilippo. Thank you very much. I know this has been a quick spin through orthopedics, but I hope that you had a taste of what we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mackenzie. Let me jump in and see if Karen, whether there are any questions from the audience.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mackenzie. Thank you very much for the presentation. We are really impressed by your work you have done. Since you know the purpose of the webinar today here is not only introduce the cutting edge, from the Nemours, but also we would like to see if there's anything we can work together. We're really impressed by Dr. Mary Lee talk about close ingredients for success. So Dr. Mackenzie, could you give us some example of the collaboration or partnership you have already done in China? You mentioned you are going to do a Shanghai trip, but canceled. So anything else or programs you have done before?
We've been involved in quite a few multi-center trials. We have an ongoing trial with a new drug for dystrophic dysplasia with a group in Italy that has been taken over by a commercial enterprise. I've had a lot of discussions with groups in China and Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou to improve the management and care of children with MPS. As I mentioned, the Shanghai group have an extensive experience in marrow transplant for different MPS syndromes and have experienced various aspects of the evolution of the disease, which is different from ours. And we want to get together and see exactly the impact of marrow transplant and where orthopedic therapies will fit in. It's too extensive to discuss, but we have collaborators all over the world.
Great. 世宏我们中国的这个现在的听众对我们 Nemours 的 multidiscipline care center， 因为很多这个Mary Lee、Dr. Mary Lee 和 Dr. Mackenzie 都提到过一些多中心的，对吗？所以我们可能未来会希望对就这个多中心做一些研讨。Dr. Mackenzie, sorry, I'm talking in Chinese to the audience.
Right. I didn't understand that very well.
But there's a big interest of the audience of understanding about the multidisciplinary centers that both of you guys have mentioned,
Yeah.
and to understand, sort of how that works.
Dr. Mackenzie, talking about your China trip or the past, a lot of the collaboration with Chinese partners, you do it basically under the rule of a physician or a department or a hospital level?
I of course am representing Nemours when I travel, but the relationship is between our team and the team in China. So
Okay.
the last time I was there, I was at a conference supported by another system in Chengdao, and I also visited Tianjin and Beijing at the time, and visited a really interesting hospital system in Tianjin, and saw their cases, and realized that the technical skills are excellent in China. And what I found was that the ability to diagnose the various disorders and understand the related non-orthopedic components were an interest of theirs.
Thank you, thank you. Let me explain to the Chinese audience. 这个大家有兴趣的话，我们一会儿会把 Dr. Mackenzie 的背景发给大家，或者说各位我们的同道，如果对儿童骨科Nemours 在儿童骨科方面的成就，他们是美国最好的儿科骨科的专科医院。Dr. Mackenzie 领导的团队有非常大的成就，他本人也是美国知名的这个儿科的骨科的专家。如果大家对这个方面有兴趣的话，可以加我们的国际合作群的群助手的二维码，我们后续可以做更深入的这个探讨。Dr. Mackenzie 本人也是一个非常积极的这个演讲者，他刚才有提到过，他 travel 了北京、上海和广州。Dr. Mackenzie, which city you like the most? Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou?
Well, I haven't been in Shanghai yet, and the only time I was supposed to go to Guangzhou, that was part of that trip. The last time I was in Guangzhou was coming back from Cambodia in the airport. So I can't comment, and I'm certainly not going to choose the nicest city on this program.
Okay, Shihong and I both of us are in Shanghai, so really warmest welcome, and also one of our active audience, one of our audience are based in Guangzhou, so we really warm welcome if you will travel to Shanghai this year, hopefully.
I'll look forward to that opportunity.
Okay, great. 世宏，那差不多我们可以往下进展吧。我想各位观众，我们刚才收到的一些 inquiry 对儿童骨科的先进的成就会非常感兴趣。还是这句话，今天时间紧张，欢迎大家加我们的群助手的二维码。那我们在群里面可以做更深入的讨论。世宏，谢谢你。
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Mackenzie. In interest of time, I think we're going to move forward, but we're going to gather all the questions we have from the audience and then share them with you afterwards. But there seems to be quite a bit of interest in figuring out how to sort of work together on a departmental or more specifically in the area of orthopedics. So why don't I take this opportunity to introduce Dr. Jing? 那个金教授的话，其实那个是北京人，好像在华西那个拿他那个医学的那个在读医的，但是最后是在那个美国的那个 Duke 的那个医学院的话，拿了那个在做了 residency 跟 fellowship， 他其实是那个 Nemours 的那个眼科的专家，儿童眼科专家呢，还有就是说，其实最重要的话是他们的非常有名的一个临床科学家的，那么我们也是很荣幸的话，那个请那个金医生，可能金医生可以可能用中文跟我们大家那个分享。好，谢谢，Dr. Jing。
谢谢今天给我这个机会，跟那个中国的同事、同行，还有其他的听众来介绍我们尼莫尔的小儿眼科。尼莫尔小儿眼科呢，实际上是在20多年前才加入了这个尼莫尔的多专科的这个医院。所有的小儿眼科医生如果要在尼莫工作的话呢，都必须要经过小儿眼科专科的进修。这个是在做完眼科住院医生以后，再多加了1年的，就是专门学习小儿眼科和斜视的治疗。在眼科呢，我们有除了眼科医生以外，我们有主管的护士，还有那个就是眼科的技术员，他们一般的就是病人门诊进来以后呢，就给他们查视力就是问医疗的这个历史和引病的历史。除了有秘书以外，我们还专门有一位早产儿视网膜病变的随诊的这个综合观察的协调员。这个呢，对于就是早产儿视网膜病变的追踪和随诊呢都是非常重要的。我们小儿眼科在尼莫的话呢，主要是门诊的病人，但是呢也有一部分是住院病人咨询，因为我们是在一个就是多专科的儿科医院，所以其他的住院病人或者是门诊病人或者急诊室的病人，如果有眼科的问题呢，我们也要就是给他们提供咨询。那么只有一部分的时间呢是用于手术。每年的就是我们有门诊大概有11800次的那个门诊的人数，同时呢又有那个住院病人的咨询。我们呢更重要的时候就是花很多的时间，包括了13家的医院的咨询。这个当中呢最主要的就是对这13家医院的早产儿的视网膜病变来那个就是观察。因为所有在美国的医院，如果他要开早产儿的危重病房，都必须要有眼科的小儿眼科或是视网膜专科的医生来保证那个就是他的孩子的视网膜不会就是发现有那个视网膜早产儿的病变。每年的手术呢，眼科手术主要是在杜邦儿童医院做的，其他的有很少一部分人是在那个其他的就是外面医院手术室做。那么和尼莫其他的就是专科来讲呢，我们也是注重在临床教学和科研。那么临床的时候，常见的小儿眼病呢，包括鼻泪管的阻塞、斜视和弱视。那么很大我们的一部分的就是临床的治疗呢，医疗就是要观察早产儿的视网膜病变。如果那个视网膜病变达到了一定的程度呢，会影响到威胁视力了，那么我们就给提供一个可能是激光治疗，一个就是在玻璃体面注射那个 Avastin 这种药物的注射，使得它那个就是异常的血管呢就是退化。那么我们同时又做这个眼角型的手术，包括那个上睑下垂和那个眼周边的肿瘤。我们从皮肤科移到还有那个血管病的专科呢，和我们医院血管病专科一起治疗。就是如果说是上眼睑或者下眼睑或者面部的血管瘤造成的就是可能会影响到视力的情况，我们眼科是参加一起来那个就是观察这些和治疗这些病人。还有另外一些个脸部的先天畸形也是我们就是参加的一部分。眼科手术呢，除了就是上面说的小儿常见眼病以外呢，我们还就是会做小儿的白内障和青光眼的手术。因为我们是一个多专科的医院，所以我们和其他的学科呢有很密切的联系，包括血液病肿瘤科，还有滋生免疫病骨科脑瘫和心脏病的病人呢，很好的一点就是在小儿医院的话，如果病人进来呢是有其他的综合的系统性疾病的话，那么同时又需要眼科的治疗，我们有时候一起跟那个就是其他的外科医生上手术台。比如说我自己就同 Dr. Mackenzie 有时候会合作，他在他做骨科手术之前，我们就可以把斜视纠正了，完了呢他再来做他的那个骨科的那部分手术，这样呢就可以减少 需要全麻的次数。另外一个呢，我们和医院的遗传科有一道合作，所有的就是儿童如果是诊断里有先天性异常或者是遗传病，如果有眼科的异常的话呢，我们经常会去会诊，提供诊断和治疗。那么另外一个部分是小儿眼科的，就是小儿神经眼科，包括我不知道这个译的准确不准确，英文叫 pseudotumor cerebri， 就是说颅压增高，就是表现出来看着像有脑肿瘤的，但是实际上就是脑的就是 MRI 或者是断层扫描都看不到的肿瘤。这个情况呢，就是有视神经乳头的会水肿。那么我们也是给这些个病人做检查，和神经科一道观察，有时候和神经外科一道观察。另外就是包括视神经炎和那个皮层盲，还有就是脑创伤以后病人会有一些个就是视觉上面的问题。如果我们在我们医院的眼科有些个病人呢，就是需要更专科的，那么我们会和成人的眼科医师合作，因为我们是属于那个就是杰弗森医学院的一部分，所以和 Wells 眼科医院有很密切的联系。如果有眼部的肿瘤，像视网膜母细胞瘤，或者有些病人需要角膜移植的话，我们可以和他们就是提供服务，就是而且距离也是比较近的。那么临床诊断的仪器呢，在这里也是主要的检查手段呢，在我们医院都可以提供，包括就是可以做 OCT 眼底的照相和视野，还有就是角膜的 topography 和视觉电生理的检查。在教学上面就是几乎是每个星期都会有不同的人来我们的眼科，就是或者是观察，或者是同我们一道工作。那么我们定期会给儿科的医生，就是包括我们医院的儿科医生和在周围就是社区的这个医院的医生呢，就是给他们讲课。还有最重要的一点就是眼科住院医生的培训，给他们做那个小儿眼科的培训。因为在这里，如果你要完成眼科住院医的训练的话，小儿眼科是必须包括的一部分，因为有一个固定的就是最低限度的手术，小儿眼科手术，这个住院医生必须要做。所以呢，我们有2家医学院的住院医生会在我们做这个眼科住院医的这个在我们这里轮转。另外就是儿科住院医生也会定期到我们科来，其他呢就包括护士和医学生，还有就是医生助理。这样呢，就希望就是大家呢增加一些个就是对眼部疾病的认识和基本的治疗的方法。在科研上面，就是最近这几年呢，就是开展起来对很多科研项目的研究，这个呢得到我们的医院的领导的很多的支持，特别是Dr. Lee，就是对我们这个眼科要开展科研的话呢是非常赞助的。所以呢，我们现在主要是包括这几个方向的研究。那么第一个呢，就是对于链状红细胞贫血病的眼底改变。那么链状红细胞贫血病呢，大家都知道是一个由于单一的 DNA 的一个碱基对的改变，那么造成一个单一的氨基酸的改变，这样呢就造成了那个血红蛋白结构的变化，这样的红细胞就会造成小血管的堵塞。这样呢，美国的就是现在的要求就是说，所有的儿童在10岁以后，每年或者是每2年必须要做个眼底的检查。那么现在我们发现呢，如果用这个 OCT 的技术化来做镰状红细胞贫血病的眼底改变，就可以比视网膜检查，就是眼底镜检查提早发现就是疾病的情况。这个是2个过程，这个线呢就是这个是年龄，这里呢就是你可不可以看到就是眼底的改变，就发现你如果用那个常规的检眼镜来看的话，那么你的发现的就是比较晚那么如果你用 OCT 检查的话呢，就可以很早的，就是比早很多倍的这样的发现这个诊断。那么我们这个是和血液病科一起联合起来搞的，因为他们在同时研究对于镰状红细胞贫血病治疗对于眼底的改变 有什么影响。另外一个呢，就是我们最近开始做对于早产儿视网膜病变的长期影响。那么这里呢，就是左上图，这个是一个眼底照相，给你看到就是早产儿的视网膜病变。这个呢是正常的视网膜的，就是看上去是这个样子。那么如果就是早产儿存活以后，经过激光治疗以后，那么早产儿的视网膜病变呢，就是恢复了以后呢，那么发现这个小孩子如果是长到7、8岁甚至10几岁的话呢，你如果做 OCT 的扫描的话，还是发现有不同。那么你就可以看到这个角膜的，就是眼底的中央的这个视网膜只有一个腰线这个英文叫做 fovea，就是早产儿呢就比正常人要大很多。那么你如果从那个视网膜的断层扫描呢，你就发现这个中央的凹陷的这一部分呢，它就不如像那个就是足月儿童生下来以后呢，这个发育没有这么明显。这个对于视觉和有什么长期的影响，我们还在研究。有些个早产儿呢，就是说虽然他们看上去视网膜是正常的，但是他们的视力是一般不能够达到1.0或者1.5，这个可能是原因之一。更重要的是呢，因为如果大家认为眼睛是属于看到大脑的一个窗户，如果可以视网膜的神经细胞的迁移和形成这个凹陷的这个过程，如果能够被早产影响的话，那么它对于大脑的发育有什么影响呢？就是这个我们还准备要继续进行研究。因为现在呢，全世界呢就是早产儿呢存活率越来越高，孩子生出来的就是很小的，有时候甚至现在我们看到23周妊娠期生出来的孩子呢，也都活下来哈。那么就是对他们长时间的发育和那个就是脑力的有什么影响，这个是我们很关注的一个问题那么我们的同事呢，就是在美国的眼科学术界呢，也是就是非常活跃。那么参加了就是我们都是美国眼科学会和儿科学会的会员，同时呢又在美国小儿眼科及斜视的学会里面呢作为委员会的成员。我们每年会到那个就是参加全国性会议做学术报告和专题讲座。这个就是我们在参加就是美国小儿和斜视眼科年会的时候做报告和发表的一部分文章。谢谢。
好的，谢谢Dr. Jing 呢，可能不好意思，大家那个刚刚那个可能有一些那个技术上的一些小问题的话，所以 Dr. Jing 的那个Dr. Jing， 你有空那个再看一看那个slides 吗？如果没有的话，我们其实也可以走下去
你要准备怎么样？就是再放一遍，就是你看不到我的 slide。
对的，刚刚那个 slide 好像没有播放出来，我不知道你这边。对的。
你现在看得到吗？
还看不到，可能你要这边要 share 那个。
我 share 我。你看得到吗？还是看不到？
看得到了，看得到了。我知道你其实已经全部那个讲完了，但是如果有一些那个重点的 slide， 可以跟大家分享一下。
这个就是现在看得到吗？OK。
金教授，在您这个放 PPT 的时候，我们中国的这个同道伙伴们也非常希望了解，您是来自北京啊，那现在我们耳眼这边跟 中国有一些什么在做的这个合作的案例吗？
现在从那个尼莫尔来讲，对于没有跟中国的眼科的直接合作，我就是在大概是2008年的时候还是07年，有一次参加这个就是中国那个地方有一个眼科的学会，我在那里讲过一次，但是跟医院没有直接的联系。
哦，好的好的，那您OK， 不是那您刚才提到过我们的眼科和 Nemours 其他的科也是有一些协同的，是吗？
对，
这个协同您能再 specify 一下吗？
是这样，第一个就是比如说是从研究镰状红细胞贫血病的话，那么我们是和那个血液病一起在搞的，他们这样子给我们就是提供病人，因为他们是诊断了镰状红细胞贫血病，在这个以后呢，我们就是定期给他们做眼科检查。那么其他的，比如说是神经科，我们跟他的联系很多。如果是小儿的，就是有各种颅神经的改变造成斜视，或是颅压增高要查视网膜水肿，那么我们都会同时进行。
OK， 好，那个各位观众我们看到在直播间也有我们的专科的医生有提到眼科的问题，因为现在Nemours金教授这里目前跟中国的合作还有很大的潜力。如果大家听了金教授的这个演讲之后有一些什么样的想法的话，一个是可以直接的加我们群的国际合作群的群助手跟我们来提出来，另外也可以一会儿世宏也会把你的这个二维码再分享给大家，是吗？
是的，那我们后面的话，如果也可以问大家要看如果那个金教授这边的话，方便的话，说不定这些 slides 也可以在我们那个群讨论的话，也可以跟大家分享。
好的，那我们往下进展吧。
好
，OK，
谢谢。
Dr. Lee, why don't I pass it back to you for introduction to Dr. Rabinowitz?
Sure. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Deborah Rabinowitz, who is the chief of our Interventional Radiology program within the Department of Medical Imaging. She leads a team that is really top-notch and doing some extremely innovative work that is truly bringing new approaches and techniques to the therapy of problems that had previously been very difficult to resolve. So I'll turn this over to Dr. Rabinowitz.
Thank you so much, Mary. So I'm from the, can you see my screen? Sorry. I'm from the Division of Interventional Radiology, and I wanted to present a new and exciting program that we have here that really tackles a new area of medicine. We've started a multidisciplinary lymphatic center at Nemours. And just to give a little bit of background on what this involves, the lymphatic system has not been concentrated on in medicine for the last maybe 100 years. So just it is best known for taking the fluid back from the interstitial tissue to the veins, but in this fluid, it's responsible for transporting lymphocytes, fats, fatty acids, and proteins as well. And it takes all of this back, and so it's very important in the function of our immune system and our metabolic system, as well as taking the fluid back from our tissues. So we call it the forgotten third circulation. And the anatomy of it, this is a very simplified diagram of the anatomy. It's a very complex chain of ducts and nodes that pick up the fluid. Down here you can see that this is coming from the legs and the retroperitoneum. About 40% of the lymphatic fluid comes from the liver. and about 40% comes from your intestines. It all should coalesce in the cisterna chyli in your mid-abdomen, and then travel up your thoracic duct and return to your venous system via the subclavian vein. This is the typical anatomy. This is widely variable in patients with and without symptoms. And again, this is a simplified version. So why haven't we talked about this before? Mainly because our imaging techniques were not advanced enough to see the lymphatic system, to see the lymphatic vessels, and therefore we couldn't either diagnose or intervene in any of the conditions that were the result of a problem with the lymphatic system. About 10 years ago, there was a great leap in knowledge when we started doing intranodal lymphangiography. This allowed us to access and put radio-opaque contrast into the lymphatic system so we could see it under X-ray. This then evolved into using gadolinium-based contrast to see it under MRI, which increased our resolution, and we can actually see it in a time-resolved way, so actually see the function as well. And just in the last couple of years, we've started doing liver lymphangiography to see a dedicated view of the liver lymphatics. And this is just an example. This is intranodal lymphangiogram. So this is just to orient. This is the head of the patient. This is the feet. These are the groins. And these are 25 gauge needles that we place into groin nodes. And you can see this is an X-ray, of course, and radio opaque contrast, but you can see the extremely complex network of lymphatics that are heading cephalad towards the retroperitoneum that will eventually enter the cisterna chyli. And then this is an example of a normal neonatal contrast-enhanced, time-resolved lymphangiogram. So again, those needles are in the groin and we're just injecting gadolinium instead. This is the normal retroperitoneal lymphatic system coalescing in the cisterna chyli and going up the left thoracic duct, returning to the venous circulation. Again, this is a normal patient. So once we were able to see and see the lymphatics, we could start to identify actual abnormalities, and then we progressed to intervening. So this is just a schematic showing the initial way that we started intervening. We take a very small needle, percutaneous access the actual thoracic duct, and once we access it, we can then advance a wire and then exchange the needle for a microcatheter. Once you have a catheter inside of the thoracic duct, you now have access to really see the lymphatic system and then intervene if you can find the problem. So since we've had all these advances, we've started to treat a number of conditions that previously had no really good alternative treatment. So neonatal pleural effusions, when fluid accumulates, chylous fluid accumulates in the pleural space and can also happen in the abdominal cavity. It's called chylous ascites. This leads to big problems with growth, immune function, and even affects the coagulation cascade in these infants. There's something called, we've categorized something as central lymphatic flow disorder, and that is obstruction of the lymphatic system rather than a leakage. We treat complex lymphatic malformations. These are the syndromes that are multi-system, and so all of the systems of the bodies, the spleen, the bones, the liver, the abdomen, the intestines, they all have the lymphatic malformation or lymphatic proliferation. And these includes generalized lymphangiomatosis, composite-form lymphangiomatosis, and Gorham-Stout disease. And we've had great success treating plastic bronchitis and protein-losing enteropathy. These patients are often cardiac patients who are status post-Fontan or have single ventricle physiology. And plastic bronchitis is when the lymphatic fluid accumulates in the airways and obstructs the airways. It can be very fatal. It has a 50% morbidity and mortality rate. And And protein-losing enteropathy is when the lymphatics actually weep into the duodenum or the small intestine, leading to severe hypoalbuminemia and immunosuppression. So as we've discovered and classified these conditions, we've also come up with interventions. So for chylothorax, plastic bronchitis, and chyloscystitis, we embolize whatever we find leaking, basically. So that can be the entire thoracic duct. It could be a smaller branch, a selective embolization, or something called interstitial embolization, which I'll explain a little later. For protein-losing enteropathy, liver lymphorrhea, and ascites, we actually can embolize the liver lymphatics once we access them. And for the central lymphatic flow disorder, this is sort of one of the more complex and newer areas. We've started to, there have been very few cases, but we've started to do lymphovenous anastomosis. So reattaching that obstructed lymphatic duct to a vein in order to restore the normal flow. So this is just a very quick example. This is a contrast-enhanced MR lymphangiogram of an infant, a neonate with chylothorax. And this is the typical pattern we see. You see that you get the retroperitoneal lymphatics here, and you get sort of a small amount of the thoracic duct, but instead of continuing up where it should, it's going into the lungs, into the mediastinum, and eventually this fluid weeps through the pleural stomata into the pleural space, obviously causing the effusion. So this is, we treat with interstitial embolization. We use Lopidol, which is an oil-based contrast, and the infant's thoracic duct is very difficult to access because it's even smaller. So we just inject this Lopidol, which is oil-based and so therefore forms droplets, into the lymph nodes, either in the groin or the retroperitoneum. And it will preferentially enter these abnormal lymphatics that are weeping into the lung. And this is an example of sort of an extensive case where you can see it blocking all of those. And this actually ended up having, there's very little literature on this, but in the case report in 2017, there was a complete resolution of chylothorax in 100% of the patients. We've done a lot more cases since 2017, but as this is a newer field, this is probably the biggest case study that's been published. I just wanted to take you through one of our typical cases. So patients with plastic bronchitis, this is the leakage of the lymphatic fluid into the airways. It can result in marked airway obstruction. It happens in about 3 to 4% of patients after Fontan. And again, the mortality is as high as 50%. Previously, these patients either just went on hospice or were considered for cardiac transplant. This is an example of a typical pattern of plastic bronchitis. Again, you're going to see this retroperitoneal lymphatics, but instead of seeing that thoracic duct, everything is just going towards the lungs, towards the airway. And this is the conventional run. Then again, this is the conventional lymphangiogram. So once we finish the MRI, if we find something we can treat, we take them back to the interventional radiology suite and access the lymphatic system there and inject regular contrast. This is a digital subtraction angiography, and you can see it mimicking this. Some of it is even leaking into his mediastinum, but see it heading towards the airway, which is here. Sorry. And while we do this, we oftentimes will have pulmonary do a bronchoscopy, and we'll inject methylene blue once we're inside the lymphatic system to confirm the leak. So you can see it start to appear in the submucosa. And as time goes by, as we're injecting the methylene blue, it starts to weep actively into the airway. And you can imagine that, this is a more viscous substance like lymphatic fluid would occlude those airways and cause significant respiratory distress. Our treatment for this is actually fairly simple. I don't know if you can see the coils here, but we put a pack of coils and then we follow with glue. This is basically super glue. It's NBCA glue. And again, this is a small case series that was published in the literature. We've done many, many more cases than this. But they had a 94% success rate with this procedure. And just to highlight how exciting and new and how much this field is advancing, we recently discovered a new source for plastic bronchitis. So 6% of those patients, they couldn't find this source. We had one of those patients come to us from an outside institution, and on his regular MRI, you could see this sort of abnormal duct rising from where the liver is towards the mediastinum. He had had a normal, otherwise, lymphangiogram. He was having multiple hospitalizations. He was on twice daily inhaled TPA, a lot of expensive and dangerous medications. So he came to us and we decided to try to find this duct, and we did a liver lymphangiogram. So you'll see here, the needle is, it's over here. We're inside the liver lymphatics. The contrast is traveling forward, enters this duct eventually, and goes right to the carina, which was here. And we confirmed this, and we're able to embolize this from inside the liver. And he's been doing well for a year. And so again, now that we've discovered this, we're hopeful that that 94% will go to 100%. Those are just some examples of some of the methods that we've developed. So where we are now in this field is we have etiologies. We've discovered the etiology and developed treatments for chylothorax, neonatal chylothorax, plastic bronchitis, and we recently discovered this hepatic source, protein-losing enteropathy. We also recently performed the first transendoscopic embolization of this, which is a much lower morbidity and much less invasive way to embolize these patients. We've developed a treatment plan for pulmonary lymphangiomatosis. This is the syndromic kids, the complex lymphatic malformations. And we are continuing to improve on our success with chylous ascites. As these patients are very complex, like we've mentioned, we have a multidisciplinary program, and with the amount of referrals that we've gotten from across the US and also internationally, this specific group of people has developed excellence and a lot of experience in lymphatics. And of course, and we all work together. So interventional radiology, interventional cardiology, cardiac anesthesia, cardiothoracic surgery, GI, pediatrics, general anesthesia, the pulmonary department, cardiology, general surgery, and plastic surgery. Also involved are nutrition. International medicine has been instrumental in the success of our program. They really, we have a robust international medicine department who really helps us organize the travel for all of these patients that come to us. And of course, respiratory and social work are extremely important for our program as well. And this is just one of our patients happily after being embolized. She was actually the first patient we treated. She had an interstitial embolization of a neonatal chylothorax, and actually is now off oxygen at home. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rabinowitz. Why don't I pause here and then ask Karen whether she has any questions from the audience.
Oh, OK， 好的。事后 maybe we can do 双语主持好吗？我用中文，你用英文。我们的时间够吗？还可以 take 几个 question 啊？
应该可以的。我觉得他们这边应该还有我们就 maybe like 3到5个问题。
好，那各位观众，如果我们现在有这个问题，我们涉及到了这次的这个 Nemours 儿童这个医疗系统，其实涉及到了骨科、眼科，还有事后你要问一下我们的医生，刚才讲的，哎呦，好难，有淋巴，有其他的啊，有一个乳糜什么，这个病还是蛮罕见病啊，我觉得应该是一个罕见病啊，所以我们先 take 一个问题好吗？ 就是世宏，我用中文讲啊，你看看跟我们的医生说一下，就是其实这个问题可以是问我们金教授的，金教授还在吗？我们耳眼的金教授，想请教您一下，您刚才提到的这个 MDT 啊，耳眼的 MDT，从这个现在 Nemours 的这个以患者为中心这样一个角度出发，我们这个 MDT 发起的机制是怎样的？是一个程序性的、标准的程序性的介入呢，还是由患者提出的，或者由患者的主治医生提出的
？OK， 现在在这里是这样有些个病人来这里呢，是因为有眼病，但是呢，又有很多的是因为到我们医院来看那个其他的疾病，包括是骨科病、心脏病或者肿瘤，这样呢，他们那边会提出来要会诊，完了我们就参加。这回答你的问题了吗？
是送病人过来的网络医院提出来要会诊。
对，一般是这个样子，但是就来我们到我们本科门诊来看病，大多数是因为有眼病。但是如果是其他的地方送病人来的话呢，有时候就是眼病和系统性疾病同时都存在。这样呢，我们就是病人来看一次呢，就把各种科都一道看完。如果需要做手术的话，我们就排一台手术，把所有可以同时做的手术都在一次全麻下面把它做完。
好，太棒了，太棒了。世宏，下面的问题可能是会涉及到战略，也涉及到我们的 management， 可能是问一下Dr. Mary Lee，您刚才有提到过，就是我们的在演讲当中有提到过，我们 Nemours 是有 two hospitals，一个是在 Delaware， 一个是在那个Florida， 然后还有一些 multi-speciality and primary practice。那想请问一下，这个 multi-speciality and primary practice across 5 states 的，他们是以这个什么样的形式出现的？是一个 clinic 吗？他们的这些都是 clinics 吗？然后我们的Nemours 的总部是怎么管理的？这可能涉及到那个 management 的。世宏。
Dr. Lee 应该Dr. Lee, did you catch the question, or do you need me to explain
asking about what our multidisciplinary clinics are like and how we manage them?
Especially across states, because you have multiple centers.
Yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit about Delaware Valley, and then we have a parallel situation in Florida. So we have the bulk of our activity is in Florida or in the Northeast, in Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. And we have our main tertiary care, quaternary care hospital in northern Wilmington, which is very close to the Pennsylvania and to New Jersey. So all highly complex patients come there for their care. And we have a very large multi-specialty practice, as well as general peds right at the hospital. And then in addition to that, we have several very large specialty sites. We have some that are primarily ambulatory services, and then we have a couple that also offer ambulatory surgery. And in our ambulatory services, it is a combination. We have some radiology, we have therapeutic services, and we have different specialty services at those sites. We also, and for most of our specialty, for all of our specialty services, the physicians, whether they work solely in the community or whether they work part-time in the community at one of our outreach sites and also spend time on our main campus, they all are connected academically to one chief or one chair. And so there are shared best practices that are practiced across, across all our sites. And we are also trying to do that between the North and South practices as well. You know, to have a common set of guidelines, standards, way that we deliver care. And then in addition to that, we have large primary care office practices. Some of them are situated as just a primary care office, and some of them are built so that there is specialty care sharing offices adjacent, that we've built a larger or rented a larger center, so we have both primary and specialty care. And again, all of our primary care offices are linked and have you know, common criteria for management of certain conditions. They cross cover for call coverage. And one of our advantages in doing this is that we have one electronic medical system. We were one of the first systems to move from paper to electronic, and we put in the same electronic medical system at all of our ambulatory sites as well as our tertiary and quaternary care hospital. So if a pediatrician in the community sends a patient to our emergency room, they can log into the EMR and see the visit and see all the labs, and they can see the inpatient stay if one of their patients are hospitalized. When our consultants see one of their specialty patients, no matter where the consultant is, they record the visit and chart the recommendations in an EMR that is accessible to all of our employed private practices. And then in addition to that, we also provide at the hospital partnerships, our physicians are staffing the inpatient floors, and these tend to be more community hospitals. So they work closely with our physicians, and if a child is more critically ill, then they are transferred to our hospital for more specialized care. And, you know, I had mentioned that our physicians provide consultation. So if a older child or newborn nursery or a NICU in one of our community hospitals has a problem and they would like to consult one of our specialists, they can do that either virtually or, you know, sometimes in person. So we're pretty well integrated and connected.
Great. 刚才那个 Dr. Mary Lee 讲了非常重要的几个要素，才能把我们这个跨州的这些医院和我们 community based 的，还有这些 clinics 能够连在一起。重要的是一个信息化的系统啊。另外，我们也有统一的 guidelines 和那个 common 的 criteria， 这个非常重要。So Dr. Mary Lee, can I ask a further question about the management? So maybe I haven't catch that. So actually, for you know, not many U.S. hospitals, they have the cross-state system.
Yes.
So they're at the very beginning, why Nemours has that kind of the strategy. So you would like to, I heard that the numbers, you have the more than 80 sites across 5 states.
Yes.
Right. So how this strategy come out?
Yeah, so this is very interesting because it started with our foundation and how it was funded. So Alfred duPont created a trust that was a trust in perpetuity to take care of children. And he lived in Delaware when he was younger. His family was from Delaware. He is related to the DuPont chemical company, but he had was not involved in that and left that company and moved to Florida. And it was in Florida that he was an industrialist, he was a musician, he was a inventor, and he made his money in Florida and had raised lived there for many years. And so he always maintained 2 homes, one in Florida and one in Wilmington.
Delaware.
And so
Okay.
when this started, it initially started as a multi-specialty practice in Jacksonville near his home there. And then we built our hospital on the grounds of his mansion in Wilmington. And so we can see his mansion from the windows of the hospital. And and then as we grew, we really, so we started as an orthopedic hospital, and we quickly expanded from taking care of children with polio and with more, uniform conditions to very complex conditions that you heard of from Dr. Mackenzie. And it was recognized that these children needed other specialists. They were, they needed a geneticist, they needed an endocrinologist. They had more problems than orthopedic problems. So the foundation and the board and the trustees decided to expand the scope to provide, to build a full-fledged hospital in the 1980s. And so that's when we really developed and grew the Delaware Valley operations. And more recently, it was recognized that in Florida, in Orlando, there was a dearth of very sophisticated quaternary care, and there were a lot of children. It was a growing area. There were a lot of children who weren't able to, the hospitals there weren't meeting the needs. And so we built a children's hospital there 7 years ago. And you saw some pictures of that hospital in the movie.
非常好的初心。各位我们的伙伴们，就是大家看到那个 Nemours 儿童医疗系统，它其实是一个 system system children's system， 所以有非常完善的 network， 也有大家可能另外的问题Dr. Mary Lee talking about your translational research to the clinical usage. So what kind of the system you think supporting your you can utilize the very cutting edge research into the clinical practice?
Yes.
Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, yes. So our research program is built as an enterprise program. So I'm also serving as the Chief Scientific Officer, and so I oversee research both in Delaware Valley and in Florida. And we have encouraged our scientists and our clinicians work very closely together. And so we have tried to create more opportunities both for funding and supporting research that involves both a basic scientist and a clinician. And we've also embedded some researchers right within the clinical program. So Dr. Mackenzie has a very large clinical department of orthopedics, but his faculty, several of his orthopedic surgeons are also very interested in research and have, engineering degrees or PhD degrees as well as their MD degrees. So they work collaboratively with engineers in our regional universities as well as basic laboratory teams that are interested in bone development and in understanding muscle growth and development. And then right within Dr. Mackenzie's department, he has a geneticist, a bone geneticist, which is pretty rare around the world to specialize so directly. And so he provides some of the research and some of the linkage to basic scientists who, have conferences together and work together. So a good example of that is that we have become an international center for one of the polysaccharidosis condition called Morquio syndrome. And the research on that is being done in our research program by a very talented basic scientist who has just received really good feedback on a grant he submitted to NIH, where he teased out the pathway for what caused this disease. He developed mouse models for therapeutics, for gene therapy in the mouse. And then meanwhile, he is connected. We have a number of patients who come to see Dr. Mackenzie and his colleagues with this syndrome. And now a company is interested in working with us to move his findings in the animal to phase 1 and phase 2 and hopefully phase 3 gene therapy trials for this condition. So we're in the very early phases of talking about how do we build a program like that.
谢谢啊 ，Dr. Mary Lee。就是各位还在我们屏幕前的伙伴们，现在已经快9:47了啊。我们刚才说的一个非常有意思的话题是，这一次的 USCIPP Month， 我们每一家的我们顶级的医疗机构都会涉及到的，怎么把科研和先进的技术运用到临床。我们每家医院的这个路径可能是相似的，但是我们的这个就是每个专科可能会不太一样。所以刚才那个Dr. Mary Lee 讲了非常有意思的，您本身就是个 scientist， 怎么去跟我们的 clinician， 我们的临床去做一个非常好的结合，也有一些前期的可以再应用到产业化的。这个在美国的医生当中可能已经在我们的血液里了。怎么把好的一些需求变成一个值得去研发的产品，然后研发的 idea， 然后再变成可能性的产品和这个 technology。所以世宏，我觉得我们可能以后还可以把这些萃取出来，看看我们美国顶级医院的这样的经验可不可以应用到为更多的 global 的同行所吸取。所以世宏您可以问一下，就是我们最后一位 Doctor 这个罕见病，跟中国有一些什么样的合作吗？
Dr. Rabinowitz, the last question is sort of aimed towards you. I guess the question is about, do you have any partnerships internationally and maybe specifically within China? What sort of collaborations or programs would you be interested in looking for?
We don't have any official relationships, but we have a lot of patients who come to us from these other countries. So from Russia, Canada, I actually just got a consult from New Zealand. So we have good relationships with a lot of international places. We are interested, of course, in collaborating everywhere, and in China specifically. As the field is evolving, the more minds, the more resources, and then will just lead to better innovations as we go. And there's a lot left in this field to discover. So the more collaboration, the better.
Well, thanks.
I just want to mention that we also, as an institution, Nemours has had the opportunity to host international physicians who are interested in learning from, particularly we've done this with Dr. Mackenzie, but I think we are open to that possibility in the future when travel is a little bit easier between our countries.
Okay. Even it's not very easy to travel, we can use that webinar, our online system, to do the communication more freely. You're talking about that with different type of their Zoom. We can utilize that. 世宏，我想最后能不能再加一个问题，可以吗？世宏，我们想问一下我们的 Nemours 的 team。What's your expectation? That kind of a webinar is to, like Dr. Mary Lee mentioned, the ingredients for success. Very important is a close collaboration and share resources. So what's your expectation or any plan for partnering with China any areas? You're talking about the Dr. Mackenzie's orthopedics, right? It's really, really impressive. So what else you would like to share with our Chinese, physicians, hospitals, and what we would like to do this year or next, maybe 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, Cindy, would you like to talk a little bit about that? Cindy is our Chief Strategic Officer, and she and Chris and Maggie have been working on different opportunities for collaboration with internationally, but especially with China. So maybe Cindy could say a few words.
Yeah, so thank you so much, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
So I will answer the first part of the question, and then I will turn it over to my esteemed colleagues, Maggie and Chris, to talk about an example of a partnership that we currently have with China. Okay, so to answer your question, we talked about orthopedics today. We talked about, obviously, lymphatics and ophthalmology. And so I think that when we think about our multidisciplinary quaternary facility and the programs that we have, I would also add to that, we have transplantation or solid organ transplantation, cardiology, we have a renowned international cardiac center. I would also reemphasize what Dr. Mary Lee had teed up in her presentation around hematology, oncology. A lot of work has been done with cancer. And then I think, just to pay a nod to what Dr. Chris Robb does and his team, there's a lot of sort of rare genetic diseases, metabolic diseases that we're certainly finding around the globe. And if there's any opportunities to collaborate, right, to find treatments and therapies for those diseases, or even research, I would add, I think that is really important. We are really open in terms of understanding what your needs are, what the audience's needs are. So I think, Karen, your suggestion about just learning to get to know one another through webinars, right? And we look towards USCIPP and our partners to help us with that and connect, because I know this particular forum may be hard for a two-way dialogue, but we are certainly open because of the establishment of Nemours and all the quaternary programs that we have to offer. And with that said, I want to answer your second question, which is around giving an example of what the Global Health Services team and the International Medicine Strategy has been by having Maggie Volosky, who's our Administrative Director of Global Health Services, and Dr. Christopher Robb, who's the Medical Director of Global Health Services, talk about our recent conversation with China. Maggie?
Great.
Thank you, Cindy. So we've been in conversations with a number of Chinese groups in different ways that we can collaborate and partner with them. The first one that comes to mind is, our telehealth, our telemedicine capabilities. We have experts, as you've heard, in all the variety of fields. In Delaware alone, we have over 30 specialties, and there are physicians in every single one of those divisions who are well adept at doing telemedicine, video consults, second opinions, evaluations, and collaborations on patient care. Our physicians are willing to collaborate not only on the patient care, but also on the research side of it. So working closely with the physicians in China, they're able to enhance the projects and the developments that they're working on. Dr. Mackenzie alluded to some of that with skeletal dysplasia. Dr. Rabinowitz talked about the different work that they are doing and how they can collaborate with different physicians across the globe in the early diagnosis and ultimate treatment for the patients with plastic bronchitis and their various diagnoses in IR. Dr. Lee has touched a couple times, or more than a couple of times, on our research projects, and we're always looking for new partners and new collaborators to be able to enhance the findings and the work that they're able to do in research. So I think the opportunities for partnership are limitless. I think we're open to any and all opportunities. We've also talked briefly about how we manage multi-site, multi-location clinics with a diverse amount of specialties in primary care. And it's something that really, I think, in a forum like this, we're not able to really spend the time to highlight how we operationalize that. So I think if there's organizations that are interested in more information on that, we are definitely willing to consult and to advise, to partner, to really share the findings that we have had over the past 75 years of growing out this system, to be able to help others replicate what we've done and learn what we've learned.
Thank you very much, Cindy, Maggie. Thank you. 这个是我们屏幕前的伙伴们。刚才我们2位专家讲得非常的棒啊，我们是open的，也可以根据我们中国市场的需求，所以我刚刚在直播间也跟大伙儿说，你们各位想听到什么，各位想了解更深入的信息的话，欢迎告诉我，我叫 Karen 啊，告诉我们 USCIPP 的世宏，也可以加我们那个国际合作群的群助手，我们特别的期待这样的一个在疫情下的我们的直播的平台能够更好的帮助大家无缝衔接这个国际的这些资源。刚才 Maggie 和 Cindy 都有提到过，我们这个 Nemours 有非常强的 telemedicine 啊，我们的这个远程不仅仅可以做这个临床上的，在 research 方面也期待有一些这个 project 合作的机会。总之我们未来合作的空间很大，欢迎大家跟我们有进一步的探讨。那世宏还在，世宏直播时间已经推迟了快半个小时了，所以你看看是不是我们谢谢 Nemours 的整个的 team。
Yes, thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning with us. And we really appreciate the time, and I think everyone learned a lot. Normally, we always end with sort of a final comment per se, and maybe I'll if Dr. Lee has a final comment, and then I'll close out with USCIPP, and then we'll have Karen thank everyone.
Okay, great.
Sure. Yes, on behalf of Nemours, we would like to thank USCIPP for helping to set this up and inviting us to share some of our wonderful services and to tell you a little bit more about the hospital. I know that it's evening there, so I think that I should thank all of you for spending your Saturday evening with us. As I said, I think that one of the key aspects of Nemours is that we pride ourselves on 2 things. One is utmost attention to the patient and the family and what's best for the patient and the family. And the second is a true culture of collaboration and respect for each other. And I think that is how we like to engage in relationships with our patients, with our team members, and with our external partners and colleagues. So I look forward to hearing from some of you about potential future collaborations, either in the research, educational, or clinical arena. Thank you very much.
And again, thank you to Kara Yu and the team for putting this together. And we're always excited to be able to share one of our valued USCIPP members, especially the first, actually, the Children's Hospital that participated in our Tele-Trek. I'll pass it off back to you, Karen.
好，谢谢啊，也欢迎大家，可能很多我们的伙伴都已经熟悉了，在每周6的晚上这个8点钟，就是我们非常丰富的国际资源的大餐。所以我们的梦死其实还有更重磅级的这个顶级的医疗机构在后面，欢迎大家能关注，欢迎大家多多关注也有任何需求可以加这个国际合作群，有个群助手，我们会放在那个直播间里，然后世宏的2维码也在上面，期待我们在 USCIPP 2020的年会可以认识我们65家顶级的医疗机构，我们未来可待。Global 其实是一个大家庭，期待我们能够把国际资源集合起来，更好的为患者服务，为我们的医护人员服务。所以刚才世宏在直播间里已经大家都在点菜了， 我想听什么，我想听什么，我想听什么。那我们以后接下来跟大家说再见以后，我们有更多的这个工作期待一起来partner 一起来完成。好，谢谢 Nemours 的 team，Thank you Nemours team，谢谢世宏，谢谢我们屏幕前的各位的伙伴们。那么我们下期再见。
OK，
拜拜。
Thank you， 拜拜。
拜拜，拜拜。